What is going on, YouTube? It's Tyler from Mission VR, where it's my mission to bring you guys good quality VR content. Today, we are going to be talking about some tips and tricks for the Pico 4 and some just little minor things that might make your Pico 4 experience just a little bit better, and some things that, I found to really help me out as I was testing this headset and thoroughly enjoying this headset as well. So we're going to go through all that today. Make sure you guys drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, check out the Amazon storefront below if you're looking for any VR accessories, and without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on into this thing. Okay, guys, we're going to start with some software related stuff, and the first thing I want to talk about is the IPD adjustment. This is pretty routine, and it's like a pretty big button right there on your Pico 4, but it is definitely important to be able to adjust your IPD settings, which of course, can alter your gaming experience tremendously if this is not set correctly. So it's just one big button right there. You can see me press it, and I'm able to just slide the IPD settings until I am comfortable and able to see that green circle the way that I need to. Really routine, but definitely worth noting how to do. So the next thing I really want to talk about is the virtual environment. And you can see that here at my home screen, I'm standing inside of a spaceship, which is a pretty cool virtual environment, but you do have the option to actually change where your virtual environment is. Now, this isn't quite as intuitive as you'd think. It's not like just a big button there. You have to actually go into your settings, go in general, click on virtual environment, and then boom, you're going to get some options here. Of some different things you want to go. You have options to go to a villa in the mountains, as well as, Chinese New Year, as well as another different space section, and then some more basic ones. There's not really a great selection here, but there is enough options to be able to kind of change up your virtual environment. And then, of course, if you put your settings away, you can actually kind of, teleport around the environments and, just position yourself a little different. It's a nice little feature and definitely worth noting how to do. So another useful tip is actually something that's relatively routine, and you would not even think that this would be a setting that you'd actually want to adjust until you've played enough VR games and you've realized, you know what, this is actually important. If this is not set right, there can just be like a mental blockade that takes you out of the game, and that is the controller vibration strength. The vibration strength of the controller is super important, and I have definitely played games where I was like, I need to turn this up because I just feel like I'm less immersed. And then there was times, especially when I was messing with this, that it was definitely too low, and I just didn't feel enough. So being able to change this is great. And if you look on screen, you can actually go into the controller settings here inside the Pico, and there's a little button that says vibration strength there. It's very easy to get to, but it's something that I don't think a lot of people would think about, firsthand, that they can actually do inside a VR headset with the software. So definitely an important feature and worth knowing how to access. Okay, and lastly here, we're going to talk about a couple key settings in the lab department here of the headset that you definitely want to turn on. The first and foremost being the 90 hertz refresh mode. I don't even consider playing games anymore on 72 hertz. I think the 90 hertz is the minimum now, and you could definitely notice a different environment and much smoother gaming experience. Now, here's the other thing. Quick see-through mode is an amazing feature on this headset. You need to turn this on. This is like one of the most important things. This allows you to actually double tap the right side of the headset, and it immediately goes to pass-through mode, which allows you to go ahead and look at whatever else is going on in your virtual environment. So if you need to answer a phone or take a look at a screen or whatnot, you can do this. And it definitely helps, considering that, the light blockage on this headset is pretty absolute. So you definitely want to be able to do that. Lastly, you can also find in this section hand tracking. If you want to turn on hand tracking to not use controllers and kind of use your hands to navigate, this is nice if you're just kind of looking to use your Pico to watch some videos or whatnot. You don't really feel like getting your controller and figuring out where it's at. And you can just use your hands to kind of browse through videos if you're on YouTube or watching media player or whatever you're doing inside your headset. This is definitely a nice feature to have. There are definitely not a lot of games that support this yet, but you do have the option to turn this on. So we're going to talk about some hardware tips here on this headset now, and really talk about the head strap as well as the controllers. Now, one also little feature I do want to mention, I do think it's worth noting, installing the nose blocker here. This is really easy to do. It does not come pre-installed, so it's something you will have to do, but it is definitely a nice little feature. It does block light leakage from getting in here, and light leakage on this headset is actually definitely a thing, so I would definitely put this in. It's really non-invasive. You don't even notice it's there compared to other ones I've tried. I do like it, but it's just definitely a minor feature. But we're going to talk about the head strap and the controllers next. So one of the things I mentioned in my initial review that I definitely had a problem with this headset was just the way that the back piece fit. You can see that it has a turn knob here to be able to tighten down. And if you look at the side here and I tighten it, I can get it to a pretty tight point, you know, just turning it. However, when it is on my head, it does not tighten anywhere near down that, and I can't actually turn this knob anymore to make it tighter, which is a problem for some games, because there's some games where I need this thing to be tighter to my head so that I'm, you know, my fast movements aren't causing the screen and the whole headset to bounce on me. So there is a little tip that I can show you that actually really does help me here. So if you see, if I start with the headset up like this and I fit it to my head and then I tighten it to a desired point, I can then start to slowly pull it over my head. And it's not exactly the most comfortable situation because your hair, but you can get it to a point where it's definitely a lot tighter. And then, you know, I still cannot tighten the back. Like, I can't move it at all from this point. So it's at a good spot right now for me. But if I were to try to take this headset and, you know, if I loosened it now, see how I can't even tighten it. I loosened it like 4 clicks. I can't even tighten it beyond this. And now if I move my head at all, the screen, you know, it doesn't fit quite that way. And you can actually see it that now that I'm loose, I can kind of just bounce it around, where before I wouldn't be able to do that. So any quick head movements or anything, the screen's going to just have a little bit of a slight bounce, which is definitely a problem. If you take a look at the actual controller itself, it is quite lengthy compared to like a Quest 2 controller. There's definitely a pretty distinct size difference here. This controller definitely is longer, and I do have hand straps on both my Quest 2 controller as well as my Pico controller, and I cannot recommend this item enough. It is just so so crucial to having a solid VR experience, especially if you're using, you know, games where you're moving your hands a lot in rapid motion. There's just such a much more secure feeling on your hand, and you're able to, you know, keep your hand open, which is definitely a big plus for me in VR. So, you know, as far as a tip goes, I mean, yeah, definitely invest in an AMVR hand strap. I believe these are the only ones right now, at least the only ones from a reputable brand that I saw for the Pico 4 controllers. But I can't recommend these enough. They fit really good on it. They feel amazing on the backside of your hand. It's just overall a really good item to have for your controller, and it just makes the overall experience of using the controller much better. Well, guys, that is it for this video. Hopefully you guys found a tip or some sort of help with the Pico. I know that really the head strap thing for me was like, you know, that was kind of a big thing. So hopefully you guys found something in this video of value to you that maybe you didn't know before. And, you know, maybe I was able to help you out and enjoy your Pico experience. But with that being said, guys, drop a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment in the comment section. I like reading your guys' comments and, you know, what you guys have to say. So definitely do that, drop that in, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Peace.